Lots of opportunity in El Paso.
Awesome. As you know, I just hit record.
So guys, give me the State of the Union. Give me some good news. Who has some great news from this last week to share with me?
Well, PK, can I just tell you, I just love you. I've been telling everybody, I love PK because I have been presenting using the product description with several people. And I'll be honest, I've not been able to get them on the phone, and I haven't had a chance to do my video because I've been a good, productive, busy. So I've been messaging them that, and they've all picked the President's Pack.
Nice.
Yeah. So in the last week and a day, I've had 3 enrollments. One of the enrollments.
Wow.
One of the enrollments was a couple. She got started with, she didn't go for the PK pack, but she did get started with the 30-day and enrolled her husband with the President's Pack.
Which was like a PK journey.
Nice.
Yes. So, and then another girl, she really wanted the President's Pack. She ended up going with the Pacesetter, but she said, well, can I get the Pacesetter and then get the minerals and vitamins in 3 weeks when my next paycheck comes through? I said, sure. So, I mean, it's just great that she now knows about the minerals and vitamins, knows how important they are, and they're an important part of the system, and she has it on her radar to do.
I just had that exact same conversation with a woman I just met too. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. And she's doing
nice.
30-day, but she's adding those to her first auto ship, which is great. She said she has some other stuff she wants to use up first, plus it was financial. But again, because I started with the business builder and worked my way down, she wanted everything, which was great. And another victory, PK, I have to say, is because we're loving you so much, Tiffany and I have spread the word amongst the leaders on our team, and I know we already have 9 groups coaching with you right now. And I had messaged Sandy.
Really?
Yeah, I messaged your lovely wife because I don't think anyone probably ever connected the dots. So Lori Olson has 3 groups. I know you're working with Becca Wood in that group. The Whitakers, Jody and Randy, you're working with them. You're working with Lisa Maciel. But so we have decided this is our culture. You are our culture, my friend.
You are part of our training system. Yes.
That's a big part of my entire week then.
Yes. So yeah, that's what I sent to Sandy. I said, you probably didn't realize where all these people came from, but we have a mastermind group of 18 of us. And so, some way we were just recognized as the fastest growing team at Isagenix. We roll up to Cindy Walter, who's actually my direct sponsor. And we will be that name that everyone's throwing around soon enough. But just so you know, so many people this is because we shared the first 2 recordings and they're all like, this is exactly what we've been waiting for. And so they've been kind of coming rapid fire at you. I've just been sending everyone Sandy's information and going from there. So that was a huge,
thank you. That's very nice. I love that when the word is getting out there, so these skills are getting practiced.
Absolutely. And that's what makes it even better because we're all speaking the same language. We're sharing the same message, which makes it really nice too.
Yeah, it's funny when people come in and that's all they've ever heard. When they hear something else, they'll kind of go, what's that person doing?
Right. Exactly.
Carlita has a gentleman who's building passionately out of Georgia, and he got a former baseball player on a 3-way call. And Carlita said, well, how did he do? She says, oh, he was great. Connected with the guy, great. Got to the point, got to his unmet need. The only problem was that as we were enrolling him, he didn't bother to mention the generous referral bonus. Mm. And she says, well, he probably doesn't know about it. And Eric goes, well, how could he not know about it? Well, not everybody knows about it. Well, what do you mean? We do it with every enrollment. Yeah, I know, but not everyone knows. Well, isn't he on our team? Yeah, yes, but it's not like we make people do. Yeah, but why wouldn't you do it? It works.
Right.
Okay, but he just isn't there. And he said, that's okay. I just interrupted him, did it anyway.
Nice. Yeah.
Why? Because I'm not enrolling someone if I don't give them the 2 sets of numbers. I'm not. Why? Because it works.
Yeah. Absolutely. I just did that with one of my new team members yesterday, and she came back and said, I know that the referrals will come in time when I start using the products, and just that I planted that seed.
Yep.
Now knows those numbers.
Yep.
Not something I've ever done before, so I know it's going to pay off in the long run.
Yep.
But that's why they're called touches and not shoves.
Right.
It's not the 6 shoves in the first 30 days. They're just touches.
Right.
Just touches, right? Because we know that it takes 4 to 6 connections over 4 to 8 months. before someone's ready to say yes to the product.
Yeah.
So it takes 6 touches in the first 30 days for someone to say yes to getting their products paid for. Cool. Don't worry about it.
Right. It takes the pressure off of people too.
Absolutely. That didn't work. It wasn't supposed to work. We're not working people. We're just influencing their idea of getting their products paid for. We're not working anybody.
Excellent. Yep.
But sometimes I will finish, like today I have to teach it 5 times, the product line description. And there are times at the end of teaching it, I know they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
I know immediately they're not going to do it. And it's because they've always done it another way. They didn't like the results, but man, that just seems too scary to do that. And they don't do it. And of course, that affects everything that they do.
I was sharing with these guys that the order form, I love, well, the enrollment form, they call it, I guess, because it has the business builder pack up top. And the only thing it doesn't have is the pay setter. But I brought this out. I had a one-on-one just this morning with a person, and I brought it out, and she went right to a pack. And I said, well, let me cover everything with you just so that you don't leave anything out. And it makes it so easy to use your language for this form. Ooh, distraction. So I love that part of it too. So it's completely in sync with the tools we have available.
Well, that's why when someone says, I want to just mention this one and add 14 things, just tell them their options. You can dick around with it afterwards.
Right.
But in one statement, tell them the 4 packs and the 3 systems. And you guys are just illustrating this. Some people may say, well, for financial reasons, I got to do it this way. Oh, remember I said I'm just going to support you no matter how you choose to get started? Yeah. Well, I'm not a liar. I'm going to support you no matter how you choose to get started. I'm not here to manipulate you into doing something. I'm just here to show you the whole thing. That's all.
Right. Absolutely.
Get out of that sales posture, right? I've got to get them to do this. No, I got to show them what their options are. Then I'm going to live up to my word, and I'm going to support them no matter how they choose to get started. It's just that simple. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Isn't that like a big pressure relief off, though?
Oh, definitely.
Right? Yeah.
What are you selling? I don't sell anything. I show people some options and they pick one. Don't worry about it. Really? Yeah, no. I'm not selling anything.
Mm-hmm.
I just had one of my new people she posted something on Facebook, so she got a lot of feedback. And she had a girl that apparently is in college that wanted to find out the pricing. And I'm assisting her because, of course, these are her first few people. And so we presented the pricing. And afterwards, my already enrolled person said, well, she's in college. I don't know if she's going to be able to afford all that. And I said, all we do is present the options. It's up to her to decide, because it's not our decision. We're not trying to sell them anything. We're trying to give them the options that have available. And she was like, oh, okay. So right. it made sense to her.
And not overthinking it either.
It really takes off a lot of that pressure, doesn't it?
Yes. Because I said to her, when I was in college, I had more extra money than I do now. So you never know.
Well, we always get told you would never show the business builders pack to a start number. And I go, you're doing a mental credit check based on their age.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You're not supposed to do mental credit checks, because the number one group to ever buy the most business builders packs at an op meeting was a start meeting.
Yeah.
And it was because of a mistake.
Oh.
Lauren Sims, who's a mentee of mine, forgot the language, and she's at the front of the room beside another mentee of mine. And that week, that mentee, Maria, had just learned we start at the top and go down. So Lauren says, and at our Wind Down Wednesdays, we always promote our top pack. You go ahead and tell the group about our top pack. And Maria goes, holy crap, ballsy move. We're going to do the business builders pack to our start group. Okay. And she launches into as to why they should start with the business builders pack. Well, Lauren's at the front of the room thinking, what are you doing? These are start members. You don't mention the business builders pack to start members. Are you crazy? You're ruining it, but she can't say anything because they're in front of 60 people. So she didn't say anything. And good thing, because 6 of them joined with Business Voters Pack.
Wow.
And I've asked everybody I can ask, have you ever had an opportunity meeting where 6 people join with Business Voters Packs? And the answer has been, are you crazy?
Right.
Yet it was a START meeting that broke the record.
That's awesome.
No mental credit checks.
Right. Never know someone's
None of your business. It's none of your business, right?
Right.
Yeah. Not only that, it's really expensive to have a bad relationship with food. It is. They'll realize in 2 months, it doesn't matter how much I spend on Isogenics, I'm saving money.
Mm-hmm.
Because my other lifestyle was really expensive. But not our problem. Our problem is show them their options. Stand back and support them. That's simple. So let's talk launch parties still. Last week we talked about the inspirational launch party. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yes.
Did we get to talk about the party launch party?
No, we didn't get to that part yet.
Didn't get that one. Okay. The party launch party is very important, but it sounds weird. So you got to stick there with me. What it is it's an actual party, like with music and martini glasses with replenish and cleanse and a couple of slices of fruit in it. And it's in a party atmosphere that you do an inspirational launch party, but you take out the videos. So it's just 2 product testimonials, 1 super dumb double PIB story, a top-down product line description, and then show them the 3 options to join. And that's it, in the midst of a party. But the party is this huge taste testing party. So the first time it was done was in Sarasota, Florida, and they had a buffet table filled with traditional party food, but also all the different kinds of superfoods you could ever imagine. In fact, there were 18 associates there, and some of them had never had some of the food that was on the table before. Never had it in their order box before. And the idea is, if you expose people to the flavor of the food and the flavor of the culture, that's all they really need. They don't need to hear all the science, and they don't need to see any videos. And in a party atmosphere, they'll say, yeah, I want to get started. Now, I knew you thought it was nuts to have a 35-minute presentation. This one's only 12 minutes.
Nice.
Now, 7 guests, 5 of them join with packs and leave in under an hour. The other 2 get called back. 1 joins with the President's Pack, the other joins with the Business Voters Pack. Every one of the guests joined from a 12-minute presentation in a party atmosphere. Now, there were 18 associates at the first one. All of the associates said the same thing. When are we doing another one of these? Because I can invite my friends to these.
Right.
They'll come to something like this. It's not a long presentation. It's really just a party for taste testing. I can invite to this. And so now they do them every other Tuesday in Sarasota, Florida.
I'd like to
What
do
do you
that.
think of the party launch party?
Yeah, I like that.
It's actually quite similar to a prior business several of us were engaged in. We did taste testings and had great success with, exactly what you said, letting people experience the food and they'll get ready to get started.
Well, they really work because it is more lighthearted and there is no whiteboard, there is no video. It's very much a lighthearted, light touch, but it's mostly all people need. And they get all their questions answered, but it's around the buffet table.
Yeah. And it's casual.
Yeah.
It's almost open house style because 12 minutes you can stick in anywhere within that hour. It doesn't have to start right at a certain time. Yep.
Yep. It's a very relaxed atmosphere. But because they're taste testing something and they're talking to associates who've had great results, people want to go back in the other room and pick one of the 3 stations and join. Well, 5 out of 7 join and leave in under an hour. That's how quickly they were convinced, yeah, let's just do this and go home. Does that model make sense to everybody? It obviously is something you guys have done before.
Well, we're familiar with it.
That sounds good to me. I like that one. I like the martini glasses with replenish in it. I think that would be really fun.
Well, that's a great way to greet people at the door.
Yeah.
Is with a martini glass with replenish and cleanse and a couple of slices of fruit in it.
Mm-hmm. That's funny.
Right? And get the martini glasses at the dollar store because they get dropped.
Yes.
That's funny.
But, we did that with Susan Sly years ago. And, she's an Isagenix millionaire. We still got the martini glasses from the dollar store.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, that launch party moves sideways into two other party ideas. The first one I made up, but it's going to sound really familiar to you guys. And it's called the AutoShip Partner Launch Party. The AutoShip Partner Launch Party. Now, all it is recognizing that the majority of our associates are product users, not business builders.
Mm-hmm.
So we normally don't ever do launch parties with product users because what would motivate them for throwing a party? Well, we found a way to motivate them. So what you do is you go to someone who's a happy product user and say to them, hey, you look great. You must feel great. People must be asking questions. And I understand it might be a little awkward because you aren't interested in doing the business. Now, this isn't a trick to try to get you to do the business. But I'd love to get a chance to share with your friends why you're getting the results you're getting. So I'd love to trade you some free product for you throwing a great party. So you throw a party, I'll show up and do a solid 12 minutes. We'll have a great taste testing. Your friends will ask you which one's your favorite and why you like it and all that kind of stuff. But it'll just be a high energy party. I will not take your party hostage. I'll do 12 minutes. That's it. But when two of your friends decide to join with PAX, I will personally enroll them, but I'll put them on your team leg so that if any time in the future you change your mind and decide to do the business, the volume from that party will be sitting there waiting for you to cycle with. But with my PIDs, I'll buy your favorite product on AutoShip next month. Now, if 4 people join with PAX, I again will personally enroll them, put them on your team leg, but with my PIDs from those 4 PAX, I will either cover your entire AutoShip next month so you eat for free, or maybe you've always wanted to try that Rejuvenity skincare system. I'd happily make that a gift for you throwing such a great party. What do you think of the AutoShip Partner Launch Party idea?
It's a great idea too. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like our old party method of your trading. They get free products for hosting a party.
Yeah.
In our previous company.
And I didn't know that until I made this up and someone said what you just said.
Yeah. A lot of those people.
I'm not from another network marketing company.
Yeah. A lot of those people that you're talking to from our group, we completely relate to that.
Yeah. So you know the model works. Why not use it in your Isagenix business? Right. Because who doesn't want to throw a party if it's a real party? And who doesn't want free food?
Yep.
Now, I can tell you the first time it was done in Australia, it was massively successful to the point that 6 guests are joining with President's Packs. So it's $1,000 just in double PIBs. So the host comes to our upline sponsor and says, I feel awkward about this, Mel, but is there any chance I could change my mind and become a consultant? And Mel says, I actually need another consultant. I'm 1 short of Crystal Director, and the cutoff's this week. I need a consultant, but I'm not willing to make a fake one. If you're going to become a consultant, these are your enrollments. Now, I know you don't know how to give them great customer service. So I'd like you to commit to shadow me for the first 30 days, and together we'll give all that great customer service we give to a new enrollee. Now, after that, they're going to look to you, and you need to see these as your enrollments. So if you can see yourself doing that, I'd happily give these enrollments to you because I need the new consultant. We're going to both make over $1,000. Now, the woman explained the reason she hadn't become a business builder is that she misunderstood somehow She thought as a business builder, she would have to cold call the Yellow Pages.
Mm.
She didn't know you could build this doing parties. And so that's what happened. The lady took the 6 enrollments, became a consultant. She made over $1,000. With the BV and her $750 bonus, Mel made over $1,000, all from a 12-minute presentation.
Mm.
You have associates in your downline who are happy to throw a fun party if you'll keep it fun, and are happy to take free product for doing it. You just have to be willing to have a conversation with them.
I already know first person I'm calling.
Well, one of my mentees, the first week she even offered this, she booked 3 parties.
Yeah.
Does that sound like a conversation you could feel yourself having with an auto-ship partner?
Yes.
I have an auto-ship partner sitting on about 9 cycles that would make sense, and she's got a lot of friends interested. So
there you go. But again, it's the party launch party model.
mm-hmm.
High energy, short, fun taste testing.
Yeah.
Not a long presentation. If you hijack one person's party, no one will ever have another one with you.
Right.
Everybody see why that would be a very important point to hang on to?
Yes.
So would you be sampling shakes at your parties? I've heard back and forth on that.
I like them to sample everything because I just tell people it's all about taste. I hate the taste of our vegan shakes. I'd never have one.
Yeah.
But great. We've got 4 other kinds.
Right. Okay.
In fact, I'm trying to get corporate to consider creating sample packs for us to use at parties. So you could buy a sample pack of all the shakes in little packets, a sample pack of all the bars, a sample pack of all the Ice It Lights that are specifically used for taste testing giveaways. Because I know if you got people to try a little bite of 3 or 4 of the bars, they would order 3 or 4 boxes of the bars.
Right.
But they don't know what they taste like because they don't get that. They don't get that kind of a taste testing. So you can take a bar and cut it up into 12 pieces and put a toothpick in every piece so people can taste all the different kinds of bars. Do little Dixie cups of the shakes. At the first party launch party, they even did the soups. They made the soups for people and showed them how great the soups tasted. Not everybody likes every taste, but interestingly, they had traditional food and superfoods on their buffet table, and no one ate the traditional food. In fact, some of it never even got out of the package, and every crumb of the superfood was consumed. Every crumb. Does that one make sense?
Yeah, that one definitely makes sense. And just to clarify, PK, if the person is not going to become a consultant and host this party, we would enroll anybody on their team leg, correct?
Yeah, but they would be personally enrolled to us.
Yeah. Right.
But not on their focus leg.
But not on the focus leg.
But it would also motivate your team to come help because even though they're not getting in the enrollment, they're getting all the BV.
Right.
Does that one make sense, though?
Yes.
Yep.
Please don't make fake consultants. That's why we have Isagenix orphans.
Mm-hmm.
They're inside. They look up. There's not a soul above them doing the business. And we lose people because of that.
Yep.
Make sure if someone takes the enrollment, there is a commitment to help their friend. Even if they don't know how yet, they're committed to learning how to help their friend. Now, when we explained the AutoShip Partner Launch Party to a start group, they came up with the next model, and it really works. In fact, the team just did it, and it's called the pre-launch launch party. So what happened? A team that just finished up their 5-pack. They told me, says, we had someone that said, I would love to do this, but money's a real issue. And they said, well, fill the room for a party. We'll show up and do a solid 12 minutes in a taste testing. And you'll tell your friends, I'm going to start this nutritional superfood experience this week. And I'd love for some of you to see what I'm doing to see if you don't want to join me. So they do the presentation. 2 of her friends join with packs. And after the party, the host knows exactly what she can afford to join as a pack because she knows what she's going to get back from the people she's going to personally enroll. So you only can use the enrollment form method because none of the enrollments are live. But after a pre-launch launch party, the host, who fully intends on joining, knows exactly what pack they can afford because they know exactly what they're going to get back from what their friends have joined with. So in this gal's case, I think she was getting started and her total cost was less than $100 just because she threw a party the day before she enrolled instead of the week after she enrolled. Now, funnily, one of the gals that was invited pulled the leaders aside and said, this is a little awkward, but I actually need the same deal. Would you possibly consider doing the same thing for me next week? Because I'll fill the room. And the leaders go, yes.
Right.
If you'll fill the room, we'll come. Because their parties are making instant consultants. 12-minute party, you got a new consultant. What's a better deal than that?
Yeah, that's great.
And you can probably think of people who their big reason for not getting started was money. And this could be a solution. What do you think?
Yes, I like it.
Definitely.
Well, and the good thing about it too is that the people at the party are getting the correct information because you're the one presenting it.
True. And they're hearing it again.
Right.
In person. Yep. Training.
But do you see how simple this is? If you lined up a bunch of these and you made a consultant every time you did a launch party, that'd be a pretty good deal.
Yes.
Got that right.
Yep.
These women were so excited because their conversion consultant rate's been pretty low. They've been enrolling people, but the conversion rate's been low. But to have people coming in as consultants just because they do 12 minutes, they're thrilled.
Right.
And especially when one lines up the next one, and this one lines up another one, and this one lines up another one. That's a good gig.
Yep.
And again, really simple because you don't prepare anything. The other person fills the room. You show up and do 12 minutes. Probably the simplest consultant you've ever made. It's shorter than the average three-way call.
Yes, that's true.
All right. Well, you're answering questions that they probably shouldn't be asking.
Yeah. But that one really works, guys. And it's a great kind of little secret to have in your pocket when someone says, you know, I'd love to start, but, you know, finances are an issue. Well, how about we throw a party the day before you enroll instead of the week after? That way there's no risk in knowing what you're going to get back in the first week. Now, this is a little bit like handling your entire product line, right? When you handle your entire product line, people pick more options. Same way when you handle lots of different ways for people to get started, people get started more often because they got options. And that's the value of the different types of launch parties. You can meet a different kind of need for a different kind of person in a different kind of situation. Now, the next kind of launch party is called the Healthy Happy Hour launch party.
That's what we call it.
It has no presentation. There is zero presentation. It's just a cocktail party. And two teams here in Dallas, Texas, who aren't financially linked to each other, they do one of these every month and get enrollments from it. And what it is kind of an open house with this 90-minute window where people are invited to come over and enjoy some healthy cocktails. And again, you're greeted at the door with a replenish and cleanse and a couple slices of fruit in a martini glass. There's usually 2 or 3 associates always there for the whole 90 minutes. So the guests can come and mingle with people they might not know, but hear their story. But it's just, hey, want to try a bar or a shake? And you kind of organically share your story around the cocktail hour. The average person only stays for 15 or 20 minutes. So it's a come and go, come and go, come and go, come and go. But these work. In fact, one of our Isagenix millionaires, Teresa Van Heusen, she was excited about this because she lives in a condo where she can't do a launch party because you're not allowed to build a business in the community room. And she said, I'm booking one of these immediately for my community room because I'm not going to share anything other than the products with them. I'm not going to mention the business. I'm not even going to be able to enroll them. It's just a taste testing. That's all. That's all. Now, one team from Minnesota, they kind of put a twist on this. And they took their healthy happy hour on the road. So they went around to people who were working the food drive for the food bank at Thanksgiving. And they took the healthy happy hour cocktails to the volunteers as a way of thanking them for their community service. And took advantage of that opportunity to completely rebrand what people thought of when they thought of an Isagenix business builder. What do you think of the healthy happy hour? Does it sound doable?
Yes, I've actually done one of those, PK, so I'm very familiar with that.
Excellent.
Yes.
Again, it's a light touch, right? It's a light touch. And because it's a light touch, it may be something that leads to a further conversation or a further enrollment. But the teams in Dallas, they get 1 or 2 enrollments from every single one they do.
How many attendees do they have normally? Do you know? What's an average?
It ranges. We just had a team do them out of New Hampshire, and they're the ones that had healthy happy hours, but they had 2 of them booked in 2 kind of adjoining towns, about 4 or 5 days apart. So 2 weeks out from the event, they created a Facebook page that advertised this healthy happy hour. And they put 125 of their friends on the page. And then 1 week out from the event, every single day for 7 days, they revealed another product or experience or door prize they were going to offer at their 2 healthy happy hours. And again, just a 90-minute open house kind of cocktail party. So they invited 125, 25 attended, but 9 people enrolled. So over 30% of their attendees are enrolled, which is huge for a healthy happy hour, but all formed just from using a Facebook page invite with a 1 day at a time drip for the last 7 days. Have you guys ever tried a Facebook drip method like that?
We've done the event. Yeah, we've done the event. We haven't done specific to a drip like that, but yes, we've marketed our healthy happy hours via a Facebook event. Yes. But I can see how promoting what you're doing stuff. Yeah. There are 3 main failures that we do. We don't announce it ahead of time far enough. We don't announce it enough times. Mm-hmm. And we aren't descriptive enough with what's going to happen. Sure. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, we fall. I mean, sometimes we get into let's only put it out there 3 days in advance because everyone's so busy. But I agree with you. I like put it out there far enough in advance and explain more.
Well, one of my mentees, even this last week, he has 3 events in the next 3 weeks. And so he called people and said, any chance you could come over for our launch party? No, that weekend's booked. He says, well, we've got another event the next Saturday. How's that one? No, that one's booked. Got another one March 2nd. Hey, I can make that one. Cool.
Yeah.
So in the conversation, he had kind of a lineup of options of things he could invite people to.
Right. That's a good idea too, because when people respond to the event, oh, I'm working that night, it'd be nice to be able to respond back. Well, our next one is this day.
All right. Well, guess what? I have another opportunity for you.
Right.
Yeah, but think of the message that sends to someone. I know you want to have the negative reaction, oh, I'm just hounding people. Or, I'm really passionate about what I'm doing and I'd love you to see it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I'm not this limp dish rag about this thing. I'm excited about it.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
If you address those three things, though, let them know far enough ahead of time, let them know often enough, and let them know some details. If you establish kind of as a litmus test for your invitation process, am I ticking off all three of these boxes?
Mm-hmm.
Do I give enough warning? Do I remind them enough times? And do I give enough information to inspire them?
Right. And because
I think that's a good litmus test.
Yeah, just adding people to those events doesn't really do anything because so many people have events that they haven't responded to. So giving them, that drip, that would show up in the timeline and they might be more interested. I mean, I private message.
Well, also, it creates a record, right? So when you make an actual Facebook page attached to it, and then they can look back, well, I missed the other 3 notifications, but look, they're going to be discussing this AMP line. I missed that yesterday. Oh, hey, I want to hear about that. Athletic performance. I go to the gym, right?
Yeah.
Now, think about it. Here is a healthy happy hour. They invite 125. 25 come, but 9 join. Man, that's a high number.
Right.
That's a high number for a healthy happy hour. Sorry, but that's a really high number.
Yes.
So maybe we should take the clue. If it's a high number, let's just do what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's one last launch party, and it's called the Executive Launch Party. Have you guys ever seen that video that's on my YouTube channel called the Executive Launch Party?
No.
No.
There's 3 videos on there that I made 2 years ago. I've never trained live about the Executive Launch Party anywhere in the world. In fact, I was driving in a snowstorm to take my wife to see a specialist an hour and a half away from our farm. And it's snowing so hard, I'm in 4-wheel drive on the highway. And I'm going 40 miles an hour, but I got to get her to a doctor's appointment. If you miss this doctor's appointment, you can't see him for another year. That's how far he books ahead.
Wow.
So 4-wheel drive, 40 miles an hour, where I would be normally driving 75 miles an hour. And I'm on a Skype call to Australia. And the leader says, you know what, I've got people who want to build fast, but I just don't have a way to help them build any faster. And I said, well, why don't you have an executive lunch party? And he said, well, what's that? I've never heard of it. He said, oh, I don't know. I just made it up. So let's talk it out. So I made it up while we went along. And all it is someone taking 1 month of preparation and finding 10 friends who would like to come to a launch party and bring their 2 associates with them and all enroll the same night. And it allows for 30 people to see how quickly the business pays off, because they'll see the one person who initiates all this, make over $5,000 in an hour. So they had done a lot of them in Australia. We had never done a successful one in North America up until last March. And last March, Dan Ferguson, a principal of a school outside of Detroit, Michigan, he got asked the $10,000 question. Now, that's a video that's also on my YouTube channel. It's a statement, a promise, and a question. The statement is, Isagenix has put $10,000 on the table for people who build deliberately during their first 6 months. The promise is, I know I could help you hit those markers along the way. And then the question is there some part of your family budget that could benefit from an extra $10,000 over the next 6 months? Well, when he was asked that question, all he could think of was all of the school teachers in his system who had to work summer jobs or teach summer school because they just didn't make enough money to take the summer off. And he wanted to get that $10,000 in their pockets. So he has a launch party, and he says, I saw these videos about this thing called an executive launch party, and I'm going to have a monster launch party in 1 month. And my goal is to get this $10,000 into everyone's pocket that I can. Who wants to join me? So 8 people join at that launch party, committed to having a monster launch party in 30 days. Over the next 30 days, those 9 people enroll another 32 people. So now there's 41 people filling the room. The result was 60 enrollments, 14 consultants, 2 Crystal directors, and 1 Crystal executive from one party.
Wow.
He was the first successful executive launch party in North America, but also the most successful executive launch party in the world. All from Detroit, Michigan. So the lesson behind all the launch parties is this. There's a 3-step litmus test. Is it legal? Is it ethical? Is it compliant? If the answers are yes, try it. The best launch party ideas have not been formed yet. And they might be in your head. Don't get stuck just repeating what other people are doing, thinking, well, there's my secret to success. It drove me a little crazy when everybody had to have a Wellness Wednesday, thinking that the name of Peta Kelly's group was why she was successful. Sorry, but the name didn't make anything happen. Peta made it happen. You all have wonderful ideas in your head about your business. And we can get stuck into the, well, what would my upline think? Or has this ever been done before? Will I get in trouble if I do this? Instead of, if it's legal, if it's ethical, if it's compliant, why aren't you trying it? That idea popped into your head for a reason. Pull the trigger. When I shared the auto ship partner launch party with a gal from Ottawa, Canada, she got really quiet. And I said, what's wrong? She says, oh, I had this idea 2 years ago. Well, how did it go? Well, I never did it. Why didn't you do it? Because my upline said it was stupid. And I said, and you were dumb enough to not do it because your upline thought it was stupid? That's not your upline's fault. That's your fault. She said, yeah, I know. I'm just kicking myself. She had a great idea. She just didn't pull the trigger on it. Yeah. Initiate, initiate, initiate. Don't wait for someone else to validate your parking. You've got a great idea. Pull the trigger. So, what do you think is the next thing you want to apply to your business? We've thrown a whole bunch of ideas and skills at you. What's the next thing you want to apply?
More consistent launch parties for myself. I don't do them on a regular basis whatsoever. So that's one big thing.
Yet in your other business, launch parties were kind of integral.
Oh, that's all we did.
Yeah. I think that kind of hindered us, PK,
Yes.
that we were so burnt out from doing parties that one of the appealing things about Isagenix is that it wasn't a party business.
Right. And you could work during the day. Yeah. And the ability to work during the day.
Oh, okay. So you didn't do all the stuff that we do during the day in your other business.
Right, because we were doing it mostly at night.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was more face-to-face at night in a party format. So.
Oh.
Yes.
That's kind of rough in your family life.
Yeah,
it was correct.
Exactly why we
did
decided to leave.
2 to 3 a night. I mean, 2 to 3 a week.
Yuck! Oh yeah, I'm not suggesting that, guys. No.
Right.
No. Yeah.
So I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like to do it twice a month is not crazy, but like Tiffany said, we were pretty much against any of that. And virtual launch parties is something we've done. I mean, obviously you can't do the taste testing part of it, but to paint a picture a little bit more of the products would be good as well. So I don't know. We've had some.
Well, especially if you can keep it inspirational.
Yes.
A
Well, I think
lot of
make it a little
nerds.
more, yeah, I think making them a little more fun if we go with a virtual one.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
More conversational.
There's got to be more stories and less downloading information because that doesn't
Right.
keep anybody.
Yeah, like a PowerPoint presentation. So the last one I did, I didn't do any. I had products with me that I showed to the camera so they could see them, and it was actually quite quick. And I did the top down through the packs, but you know, I would like to have more people involved that are giving stories and whatnot. Yeah, testimonials are huge. So.
Well, you know, I may have said this to you, but one of the things I try to promote if you're doing an online presentation where they can see you is have two tables. One table is the Business Builders Pack,
Yeah.
and the other table is the President's Pack divided into the three systems.
Yeah, you mentioned that about a video, and actually, as you were talking earlier, I was thinking that about doing a virtual party is to do a little bit more of that, which would be interesting. Yeah.
Well, because you can really physically illustrate to people why you're recommending what you're recommending pretty simply that way, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
PK,
So you would want to do more launch parties.
Yeah.
Sorry, someone was saying something there?
I was just going to say, do you have verbiage that you recommend? And I know it's just really just being normal and not being weird, but verbiage of how to invite people to one of these types of launch parties, because I think that is what many of us, I'm going to speak for, I think, Lisa and I, have struggled with, is not so much that we don't mind having the launch parties, it's getting the people to attend. At the beginning, I had no problem. It's now that I've been a little bit more seasoned and have, I guess, talked to a lot of the people I know in the area. And I'm always meeting new people, but what kind of verbiage would you recommend using?
Well, for one, the best people to invite to a launch party are your newest builders because they're full of enthusiasm and stupidity, right?
Right.
Right.
And they're also the best people to host a party
True.
because their friends will come to their house because they know them. They're not coming to your house. They don't know you. Which
Right.
lovely, you know, kind of takes you off the hook. Hey, I don't need to host and I don't need to be the big inviter. Nope, that's not your skill set. Oh, okay. So it ends up being something that you're really providing with and for others versus just taking the responsibility on yourself. Can you see that?
I had a launch party like 2 weeks ago, and I invited. My problem was figuring out how many people to actually invite on the Facebook invite, because I ended up with inviting 400 and no one came to my house.
So that's where I would do the invite 2 weeks out, reveal for 7 days coming up to it.
Oh yeah, I was making sure I was active in the page, posting, pictures and, different things to keep it, active in their feed. And I had no one, which, I was okay with. My mom was there and she's a product user. So we kind of just reevaluated where she was and all that kind of stuff. So it worked out, but at the same time, it was like, 400 people is probably too many people to invite. There's got to be I don't know.
Well, I'd also want to back up all those invitations with conversations, right? So if there's specific people you want to reach out to, pick up the phone and talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Because the most powerful invitation is a conversation.
Right.
I'm not sure I told you. I had one gal tell me that she invited 400 people and no one came. I said, really? 400? How did you invite them? And she put 400 flyers under the windshield wipers of people's cars at the mall with her home address on it.
Oh boy.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's not smart.
And I said, I'm glad no one came. She says, why? I says, well, only an axe murderer was going to come.
Right.
Hey, I'm going to go to a stranger's house. She left me her address.
Right.
No.
Well, and
You don't want the
I
person
did
that you want.
follow up with some people, Facebook messaging them, inviting them, but they acted like I didn't even exist. You know, I got nothing back from them.
So that's where you may want to say, maybe my message is getting a little old on some people's ears. Maybe I should use launch parties for my newer people who want to get paid and build some momentum through their list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like
Because there really is a time span when you're not the best inviter anymore.
right. And partnering with other people is key in general. Like no matter where you are, your stage, I think, even if it's even if you're not financially linked, you know, just to get people excited and involved.
Right.
You can give so much energy, though, in just a short presentation, and people at the end of a launch party should come to one conclusion, and that's, heck, I could do this.
Mm.
Yes.
And if that's the message they come away from, then you've got people taking action.
Right.
And that's what we're looking for. How do we get the newest person to pull the trigger with any kind of action? And the launch party is a great way to create that supportive atmosphere for them to actually kind of debut their story.
Yes.
Right, and be involved. Yep.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And I mean, we've talked about doing that, even just calling it a team meeting where you invite guests so that you're getting the associates there, because a lot of our associates aren't even consultants yet, so they're still very big prospects.
Yeah. Yeah. Leverage those relationships and get your people paid. Yeah.
Yes. Right, Jen? I think Kristen has this on you. Kristen's the other 617 number.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I was actually in the middle of texting one of the associates I have that's been on auto ship, and she's been really successful. So I was kind of texting her already to start this process.
Yeah, I mean.
Nice.
So I have no patience while I'm sitting there. I'm like, well, I might as well fire off some text in regard to this.
Absolutely. I like eager beavers.
That's right.
Management, PK.
That's right.
Next up, an hour-long sit in the parent pickup line. I'll have plenty of time to do other stuff.
Absolutely.
Just don't pick up any parents.
The key is with your skill set. You've got skills that you've got to sharpen. You've learned them over the last 5 weeks, but now you sharpen them, right? And then as you sharpen them, you then add a stronger leadership posture, and that multiplies the impact of the skills. But there is no shortcut to not sharpening the skill.
Right. Practice.
So repeat. Don't change it. You're not getting the result yet because you haven't mastered the skill yet.
Right.
Right.
There are no overnight successes.
Right. And it's practicing the actions, which is huge. So we can train and train and train, and it feels good, but unless you get out there and do, doesn't
pull the trigger.
That's right.
Pull the trigger. Well, even my wife, who, she was Susan Sly's personal assistant for 7.5 years. It wasn't until the last year she realized that Jimmy Smith had been in other network marketing companies before Isagenix.
Oh, yeah?
She only heard the butchered Isagenix story. I said, no, he was in 14 years of failure before Isagenix.
Right.
And she said, well, he's not an overnight success. No, he's actually a slow learner. You're right.
Yeah. Most of them are. Right.
Most of them are. When Lynn Hagedorn came over, oh, look, an overnight success. Well, yeah, if you don't count the 8 years in Arbonne, yeah, she's a newbie.
Right.
There aren't any overnight successes.
Well, and a huge
just like there aren't any
drive. Yeah, sorry.
just like there aren't any unicorns either. Let it go.
True.
Let it go. Everybody earns their skill level by stinking at it for a while.
Yes.
And then mastering it and sharpening it and then duplicating it. That's where your results come from. And that's the stage you guys are at right now. You got skills. Let's do our reps.
Yep.
Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, it has been a pleasure mentoring with you guys. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
We
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
PK. We really appreciate everything.
Thank you, PK.
And Sandy did tell me about the language of leadership and other opportunities. So I'll definitely be in touch because you haven't heard The Last of Us, and we have plenty of other groups that will be coming through and getting set up. So we were thinking about trying to put a standard time out there with you, but the more we talked about it, we're just going to get groups of 5 and do what we've been doing because, like I said, we have close to 10 running right now. So.
And PK, I
Well,
wanted to
that'll
ask
create a
you,
lot of common language. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes.
do you still have, I heard on another call that you did that you have a 5-month to 5-star program. Is that correct?
No, we don't. That was something we did with one team.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
it was Angela
there
Maresca.
isn't a program surrounded by that. No, sorry.
Okay.
It's been a
No, I was just
misnomer.
curious. I heard that. Yeah, I've been listening. Angela Maresca, she has her calls public on Podomatic, so I've been listening to a lot of those.
Did you see their latest thing where they're committed to getting $10,000 in other people's bank accounts in the next 20-some days?
No, I didn't see that.
They're going to make 30 Crystal Managers in 30 days.
Wow.
And when you make Crystal Managers, you make between $500 and $1,000 for other people. So they've made a goal to put $10,000 in other people's bank accounts. Now it's down to 21 days. And they're right on track. They're right on track to hit their mark. The last time we did this, we set a goal for $10,000 in 21 days, and we actually put $36,000 in other people's bank accounts in 21 days.
Wow.
Just by making Crystal Managers.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I'll
all.
be a
Just
willing
by making
recipient.
Crystal Managers. Pardon me?
I said I would be a willing recipient.
Absolutely, as would everyone.
Well, when you put it in their
So
bank
let's-
accounts, it ends up in yours as well.
Absolutely. That's the great thing about our compensation plan. Get other people paid and you get paid immensely.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, great chatting with you guys. Great working with you. I know I'll be talking to you guys in the future.
Yes, sounds
Yes,
good.
Thank you, PK.
Bye,
See you
PK.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.